Hi, it's Roberta with Quilt Crafters Corner. Today's block is called Broken Dishes. It is made with all half square triangles, and I'm going to show you how to make half square triangles so your points meet. So let's take a look at today's block. Today's block's got 16 half square triangles, and I'm going to show you how to make these so that you get nice points where your points all seem to match. So we start with a 4 by 8 rectangle, and these are two fabrics with the good sides faced together. The first thing I do is I find my middle on my middle point, and I mark it with my error erase pen, and I make a mark at the top. I make a mark at the bottom. Now, these finish out at 3.5 inches, and I have cut my width of fabric 4 inches. I know that I'm going to have plenty of room to be able to trim these up, so I get these nice 1/4 inch sections for my seams so that I will not lose my points, and I will get all of my seam done with my points being there. So I have marked my center of my fabric. Now from there I'm going to be going out to my opposite point and drawing a line, and then the other direction. Now what I'll do is I'll take this to my machine, and I'll start in the corner, and I will sew a scant 1/4 inch off of this line. I'll be sewing down and then back up and then come back down and then go back up. Now this is an easy method for beginners to use, so I recommend this method because you'll get 4 half square triangles out of this with just sewing those lines. So let me go sew those, and then I'll cut them apart and show you how that works. Here is my 4 by 8 rectangle, and as you can see, I've marked it, and now I have sewn my seams. So what I'll do now is the first thing I'll do is I'll cut this in half. So I have 2 pieces, and then I will cut on that line that I drew from point to point. And now I have 2. And now there's 4. So you can see now that I have my half square triangles. So what I will do is I will take this over to my iron, and I will press to the darker fabric. So okay, I have my 16 half square triangles all pressed and ready to go. What I need to do now is I need to trim them up. I need to square them. And since I cut them a little bigger just so that I can square them up, I take my 45-degree angle and I place it on that seam between the two fabrics, which gives me the ability to square these up. And what that does is it gives me the diagonal points will meet at the exact opposite corners. My square is now trimmed to the diagonal so that I know my seams are at the points. So I will continue to square my half square triangles. Okay, here's my last half square triangle that I need to trim up. I have trimmed up all the other 15. So I'm really careful about putting my diagonal so that I know that I'm going to have a nice square and it's going to be squared to this diagonal line. So just trim and get rid of those little dog ear points and then just trim the other side. And I'm really careful about making sure I've got my line lined up with my seam so that I know I get a nice true and that the points are coming right at the points of the corner. So as you can see, it does make a little bit of a mess and you are trimming, but it just makes for better points that they meet in the square itself. So let's take a look at how this is laid out. Now, these are all done the same way. All 4 of these blocks are put together so that it's done the same way. So you have 2 going in, you've got 2 dark ones going in, and you've got the 2 light ones going in. And then the same here. You've got the 2 light ones and it's in this, they're all going in the same direction. So that's what makes this really an easy block. And then we've got, the dark ones going to the center. Now, the next thing that this does is it makes a secondary pinwheel pattern, as you can see. So as soon as I get this one laid out, you will then begin to see pinwheels. You can see the pinwheel now. All right, so there it is. It's all laid out. So the next step that I do is I'm going to sew these in to fours. So this will be one, this will be one, this will be one, and this will be one. It just makes it easier, and I'm going to show you how to reduce your bulk so that you don't have all of those points and seams coming together. So and the other nice thing is when you lay it out this way, your seams are going to nest. You're going to get those to come to a nice point there. It's just going to make it easier. So these will be like that. Okay, so there's one. There's two. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take these over to my machine and I'm going to sew a scant 1/4 inch seam here along all these edges, and I will bring them back so that you can see how I've got them together. Okay, as you can see, I've sewn my scant 1/4 inch and they're together. These are all hooked together. I just did a what they call flash sewing, where you just keep sewing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to my iron and I'm going to press them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press one this way and I'll press the top one the other way. And what this will do is this will give me the ability to nest my seams so that it reduces the bulk that's there, and it's just going to lie much flatter. So I will take this to my iron and I will press them. Okay, I have ironed out my squares, and what I've done is I've got them, see, they're still attached. That way I know that's the side I'm going to sew on. And two, everything nests really nice. These nest here, this nests in the center, and these nest out here. So what I'll do now is I'll take this to my machine and I will sew a scant 1/4 inch right on that edge. And because that's where they're sewn together, I know that's the side that I need to sew. So I'll take these to the machine and sew my seam. Okay, I have now sewn my seam so that I have a nice square there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to twist my seams to pop those center seams, just so that this opens up, and when I go to press it, I'll press this one this way and this seam this way. And what that'll do is it will reduce my bulk in the center so that my center points are nice and flat. It just makes it easier to quilt through this. There's not a lot of material there in the center. So let me show you that again. So remember the little, where I had them attached, I just trim that off, and then I just pop my seams and then just spin them. And then what I'll do is I'll go press this, and see, everything lays nice and flat now. I've got everything nice and flat. There's not a lot of layers of fabric there that keep things from laying flat. So there's that. And that just makes it really easy to put together. So as you can see. And the last one. And now when you're spinning seams, they're all going to go in one direction. They're either going to go this way or they're going to go that way. It just depends on which way you've pressed your seams prior to sewing that. So let me go press these. and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, all of these are the same exact square. They're all the same. It just depends on how you put them into here. And they all go the same way, which then makes the pinwheel pattern. And there, and there. So now what I'll do is I'll take this to my machine and I will sew these together and these two together. Okay, as you can see, these are sewn together now. So now I just need to take this and line it up with this one and nest my seams so that that will be a nice flat point, and I will go sew this together. Okay, and there's our block. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this block as much as I do. It's a great half square triangle block. So I will see you soon. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and like the video, please.